You mean you're not sure if we're like a cannabis company or an apparel company?
Yes, and I just don't have a clear vision for the future of what the company looks like. And without that, then it makes it hard to prioritize what to work on. And even when I decide what to work on, it makes it hard to really figure out like the nuances of like how I should do the work that I'm doing.
This is a very weird situation to be in.
I know, and I think we're handling it really well considering how fucking existential it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is because there's like actual faith. But that still doesn't, it still makes the day to day a fucking slog. Not knowing what it is we're building towards.
Right, but again, we've talked about this a bunch. It's our relationship to that situation that's the problem. It's never the situation that's the problem.
Yes. Yeah.
So
it's a perspective.
So there is a perspective,
and it's a surrender.
So there's a perspective to what's happening right now that would actually be really fun and not a slog at all.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of like it's out of our hands, so we can't do anything but just fucking take it day by day and just do our shit.
Which is probably the best.
Yeah. I mean, if you asked me what it is I want to do, I want to just not think about the future, and I want to just look at the day in front of me and just but just do the things that I feel compelled to do each day. Here we are in a situation that is basically saying, hey, you can do that. It's actually the only thing you can do. And I'm like, damn it, I want a vision of the future.
Yeah. As soon as you have that, you'll be like, I just want to get back to today.
Yeah. Because that's not the thing that you actually want.
No. You just want to sit in peace. You want to sit in infinite peace and wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Is that too much to ask?
That's just
It's maybe a little too much to ask.
Maybe it's exactly what to ask for.
I mean, it seems like the only thing worth striving for, right?
Mm-hmm. What else are we going to do?
Infinite peace.
Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Couple ways you can get there. No, I don't even believe that like suicide is infinite peace because I'm not
Oh, is that what you were referring?
Yeah, I'm not a dirt and rock atheist.
That's how far I've come, is that I didn't even pick up on that. As a previous contemplator.
I think that you actually just fuck yourself because then you're going to have to do this shit all over again to learn the lessons.
You were so close.
I believe in reincarnation.
I know you do. I'm open to it. I'm not a no.
You are more open-minded than you've ever been in the history of us knowing each other.
I'm not a no.
You're I don't know. Maybe.
Better than some of the stuff I've heard. So we got a couple things to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me tee it up because my perspective is a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, the Thursday before the flood, I flew out of town for our annual family trip to North Carolina. And then, had it already happened at that point?
It was July 4th.
July
So you were at White Lake.
I had flown in the
4th of
day
July.
of it and saw on the news that there was like flooding, but it hadn't quite broken yet, that it was really, really bad. And so I was kind of like this very far away experience of it where my family in North Carolina, all they watch is Fox News, and occasionally they would pop up with like flooding in Texas, but they weren't like digging into it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fucking the worst thing you could possibly imagine happening.
Yeah.
If you're, it's like the news was mostly focused on the camps and Camp Mystic specifically for good reason. It's like literally the most devastating thing any of us as parents could ever imagine happening. But then the scale of the destruction and all of the people whose houses washed away. And, it was I guess when I first started hearing about it, I was thinking it was like more of an isolated area, but it extends all the way to Leander. Like absolute devastation, destruction in Leander. 45 minutes from my house. And so being here when it was going on, like as it started coming out, it's like I started hearing names, like last names of some of the Camp Mystic kids, and then later found out that like they actually were in fact families that I know from like growing up in Austin. Just like the most devastating thing, you know. And so then there's this weird thing where it's like, okay, well, we're this, you know, company in the hill country, and we're pretty public facing, and we, it's like, what do you do, right? And there were lots of companies that immediately kind of mobilized, like some really awesome, like I know Millscale just kind of activated their network of pit masters and just got a fuckload of grills out to the, you know, smokers out to the disaster areas to cook food and feed people that were out there helping clean up and families that just lost everything, you know. So that's fucking awesome. Treaty Oak Distillery became like a drop-off destination for, you know, because they already had like pallets and forklifts and, you know, big old you know, serious warehouse operations. So they became like one of these hubs for collecting essential goods. And then there were a bunch of people like running like 100% of proceeds from sales of our thing goes to charity, you know, and
you and I talked about like, well, what do we do?
Well, it's just the question is like, what the like, it's so like emotionally devastating to just like, you know, it's like the closer to home a tragedy is, the easier it is to empathize with. You know, when I hear about like Gaza and Ukraine, it's like fucking awful, but it's so like far removed from our reality that it's, at least for me, it's hard to like allow myself to get like emotionally distraught over what like all of the tragedies of the world. But when something happens 45 minutes from my house, it's like this tragic, it's kind of impossible to not like feel it on an emotional level. And so that mixed with like, well, we want to do something. What do we do? I just like had this kind of, I didn't feel like it was appropriate to market our products. And I know like to for like the percent of proceeds or whatever. I mean, that's like one thing. It's like, okay, we could design a t-shirt. We could donate a portion of proceeds, or 100% of proceeds, whatever it is.
So none of that really like sat right.
It was just kind of like, man, I don't want to put a marketing campaign together promoting my products and my company and my brand. It just didn't feel, and that's no shade at anybody that did. I mean, I think it's amazing. Some of these people, like Poncho, the clothing brand Poncho, raised like, I think like almost $500,000. Like that's insane. And I don't know exactly what they did, but they did some sort of like proceeds go to flood relief or whatever. So that's fucking awesome, right? Now they are a substantially bigger company than us, right? So like even if we were to be like, you know, a portion of proceeds go to, or 100% of proceeds go to charity or whatever, our check would be significantly smaller, right? And so it was this like wrestling with like, what the fuck do we do? Like, how do we help? How can we actually be, what is the way? Because it was more like, what is the way that we can be the most helpful? And then we decided like, let's just donate as much as we can comfortably donate.
Yep.
Directly to the fund that everybody is saying is like the one that is responsibly managing donations and getting them directly to people that need it, right? So we did that. And then you were out of town, but me and Justin and David and Tanner went to Leander and fucking chainsawed piles of debris all day. And that was like, it was like, okay, well, we can donate directly to this fund. We're like physically able to go help, and there's just like unimaginable destruction. So we have kind of flexibility with our jobs and whatnot. So it's like, let's go fucking actually like physically help. And then it's like after that, it's like, I don't know what else to do. It's like I kind of felt like we were out there for fucking 11 hours all day. And I felt like it was like trying to empty a pool with a fucking cup. I mean, I felt pretty good about like, all right, we made a sizable donation. We physically went out and helped. Like, I feel like I've kind of done what I can do with the resources that I have. And then we start getting emails from customers that are like, disappointed that we weren't posting more about it on social media. Yeah. And that was just like, God, man, like what? Everybody was posting about it on social media. Like someone was like, someone said, I've been following all of y'all's content related to the hemp ban, and I'm disappointed that you aren't doing the same thing for the flood relief. And it's just like, okay, well, first of all, the hemp ban content, we started posting in March before any news outlets were writing about it, before anybody had any idea what was going on. Nobody knew what SB3 was. So we were like, well, we have this inside knowledge on what's going on with Dan Patrick's hemp ban. And there's a ton of people out there that have an interest in these products continuing to be available. And so it's almost like our obligation to share what we know about it and to show what these politicians are attempting to do, right? So it was like we were kind of like ground zero for like getting content to go viral about the hemp ban.
And it was unique and no one was doing it, and it was like actually helpful.
Well, it's just like that was like in that situation, it was like, well, what is the most helpful thing we could do here, right? Just the same question with the flood relief. And the answer was, well, we can download these hearings that we've gone to in person and seen firsthand and spoke at, and we can make content that just shows people what's going on, because nobody's going to watch a 14-hour live stream, right? So that's what we did. And then that created kind of like a groundswell, and now tons of people have been doing it. We stopped posting any political stuff because it was like, all right, well, everyone's fucking posting about it now, so great. Now tons of people know. There's tons of articles being written in all the Texas publications. Awesome.
And you and I had racked our brains about like, what can we do with our social media? But everyone else had already been directing people to where to put money, where to go.
There was no special information that we had about the flood. There was no insights that we had about the flood that would have been helpful to share or would be helpful to share now. And
so it felt like it would have just been in an effort to be involved in some marketing-ish way.
And so like and as somebody who has existed in the world of marketing my entire career, I'm like extra sensitive to, I actually don't like marketing. I like making products, and then I begrudgingly market them because I just think marketing in general is kind of gross. And so I try to be as like tasteful and genuine and authentic with like marketing the products we make as possible, because I do care about the products. I do believe that they're awesome, and we've put a lot of love into them and whatnot. So I feel good about like showing them off, but like the aggressive, like, come buy my shit, it just doesn't sit right with me. So like anytime there's a situation like that, it's just like, I don't want to mix like marketing strategies and trying to like spread awareness about our brand and products with this fucking devastating tragedy. And again, no shade at anybody that did. In my last company, there was I think it was Harvey, we made a Houston Strong. Like I felt like immediately compelled to design a Houston Strong shirt, and then I can't remember. We might have produced them on demand. I can't remember, but it was like it was just like something that I was like, this is something I can do. I like feel compelled to do it, and we ended up raising a lot of money. So it was like but I was also this during the flood this time though. It was like, well, instead of buying a $35 hat from us, just give that money directly to the fund, because you give us $35, we have the cost of the hat and everything else. So like 100% of proceeds is not $35, right?
Yeah.
But then also it's like if you can raise considerably more money than like the net positive, it's just, I don't know. It's so fucking confusing. I don't know. I feel like we did what we could, and then like once we started getting those emails, I was like, God, like I didn't want to even like post about like we donated to, like I posted something that was like after we got the email, the first email, I was like, I'm just gonna post like donate here, like go help if you can, and if you can't donate or help, then just fucking pray for these people. And that's kind of what I determined was like the three things you could possibly do to help, right? I don't know. I'm still like, I don't know the right perspective to have on it, because like my initial reaction was like the 100% of proceeds is not sitting well with me. But then you see like these companies that have raised a ton of money. So it's like, well, that obviously it's like great they did that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just such a confusing situation and so sad. And what I really don't like though is the like, well, what are you doing? Or why aren't you doing more? Or if you're not posting on social media, then that means you didn't do anything, right? It's like people think that the entire world is social media. People are so fucking glued to social media that if it's not happening on social media, they assume like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know.
It's still awkward. It's still like, because people are still suffering. It's not like it's done.
Right. Well, yeah, for sure. Like I don't know if there's a way to like get an update on like where they're at with the cleanup, but when we were out there, it was just like, this is going to take, I mean, the nice thing is though, is like, so we were out there with, like there's debris that can't be cleared with big machinery. So you literally have to because like what happens is like the water pushes all this fucking crazy debris, like giant fucking logs and fence wire and like chain link fences and all this shit like mixed together, and then it gets caught on like telephone poles or like really big trees that like the water can't uproot. So then you would have these debris piles that are like 3 stories high, and you can't just like get some of them. You can't get a tractor to, but then also like because it's so entangled with like metal and like it's just a clusterfuck of a stack of debris that the only like way to clear it was to hand chainsaw and hand pull the pieces out and separate them into like metal pile, trash pile, wood pile.
Now multiply that by hundreds of thousands of these
But
things.
what was cool is at like the end of the day, there were then these 3 guys with tractors that came, and they just wrecked shop and just fucking picked up these giant piles in one swoop and brought them up. It was fucking cool to see, because they were like small tractors in comparison to like how big tractors get. So like my brother-in-law works for a big construction company, and they deployed like crews and machinery, and like he was like, we didn't even bring big enough tractors for it, because they were like in the center. They were in like in Kerrville, in like the ground zero for it. We were like, Leander's on the outskirts, like I think like a couple hours from like the center spot, but and it was like different river systems too that flooded. So it wasn't just one river system.
Yeah.
Like the Leander River system is different than the Kerrville River system. But so I don't know. I like at this point, I don't know. I would imagine it's still a ton of destruction, a ton of properties, because there were also properties that were like, don't touch that property because they haven't had like a tax adjuster come out yet.
Or like an insurance person or whatever.
Not insurance person, not tax. Insurance adjuster. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I would have preferred for us to be able to like do what we could do and not have to like tell everybody about it. But then with, getting multiple emails from people that are like, why aren't you doing anything? It's like, well,
yeah,
we are. And I guess in this age of the internet, it's appropriate to tell everybody what you're doing. So that's what we're doing.
It's a learning.
Through this process, though, we had a fun idea that is going to raise a little bit more money. For anybody that knows the band Nether Hour, they're kind of wild guys that are very public with their enjoyment of illicit substances and plant medicine. Bishop's big on plant medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So Bobby, Bishop, Bercy, and Alvin. That's the band. That's Nether Hour. We had Bobby, Bishop, and Bercy out here for a session a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they were great fucking session, really fun. And then we had this idea, what if we had those guys come to the kitchen and cook a production batch of gummies, and then we made custom packaging that had their branding on it and their brand colors, and we had this limited run of gummies that were actually cooked by them with their hands.
Yep.
And so we actually pulled that off, and it was fun, and we got a bunch of video out of it. And then the idea was we're going to give them an allotment of them to hand out at shows, or to be like, buy one of our shirts and get a free pack of gummies. Yep. So it's like kind of like a cool sampling opportunity for us, and it's also like
drive merch
cool
sales for them
to do. Yeah. Just like a cool way for them to engage with the fans and whatnot. And then we put a batch of them up on the website and made them available online, with the whole plan of all the proceeds from any Nether Hour pack of gummies that we sell is going to go to the band. And this is kind of like an extension of our goal with Chill Country Sessions, mm-hmm. which is to support independent artists, right? So the whole plan was, let's like raise a little bit of money for Nether Hour. They're fucking great. They're on the up and up. And, it's a cool way to support independent artists. So that was a while ago that we did that. We actually already rolled out the content, and then the final piece of that campaign was to present them with a giant check, which we made a giant Happy Gilmore style check, to present them with the amount of money that we raised through the sale of the Nether Hour gummies. And then the flood happened. They decided they wanted to re-gift this money to the flood relief, mm-hmm. which is super cool. So this is another creative way of doing it, and it's almost like the money already existed, and they're just like passing it along for a good cause. So we're not like asking anybody to buy anything, right? So it's just kind of a cool way to. We were already going to do it, and this makes it like for a way better cause, right?
Yeah.
So then they were here yesterday. We recorded another session. This time Alvin, their drummer, was there, and they fucking killed it. We got 2 really good songs out of it. And then we did the whole check presentation thing and took some photos, and then they scrubbed out their name and wrote Kerr County Flood Relief. So
yeah.
So that'll be fun to roll out. But yeah, great guys, and good on them for.
Because they're not swimming in cash, so that was really cool.
No, this is. I mean, they're killing it. They're on the up and up, but there isn't a group of independent artists out there that couldn't use a little more cash. So it's pretty awesome that they would pass this along to the flood relief.
Yeah.
So there's another cool thing that we were able to orchestrate. I mean, this is their money that they're donating, but it's fun to be a part of it.
Well, and when we roll it out, I'm sure we can tag the flood relief and see if we can get even more eyeballs on it. And
yeah, exactly. It's like it's another opportunity to like, hey, here's a fun thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's just like any marketing thing. Like getting donations is no different than any other marketing where it's like just hey, reminder.
Yeah, and it's like I was having a hard time transitioning to talking about that because of like sinking back into the heaviness of just the absolute devastation, which people are still fucking dealing with, and there's a lot of people that are going to be, never okay again.
Yeah.
Or at least never as okay as they were prior to July 4th, right? So
no amount of donations is going to bring someone back.
But there is like, I feel like as there's some distance from like the event, then like something like this that's a little bit more lighthearted and fun feels a little bit more appropriate. And then it's like, there were a bunch of people putting together like benefit shows, and it's like maybe there's something there that we could do. Like we have all these fucking awesome artist relationships, and we could certainly put together a killer lineup and do something. I know Christy at Texas State reached out about Cheatham. Yeah, I don't know. It's a fucking terrible situation, and I feel so sad for all of the people that were affected, and just the fucking worst thing ever. And nothing that, I don't know. It's fucking Mother Nature, dude. It's crazy. You know about this, fucking growing up in St. John.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going to get this fly too, because it is distracting me right now. I'm really sorry.
It's like the Breaking Bad episode.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, did I fuck it?
Yeah.
It's on your head.
It's on my head right now?
Yeah.
I need him to come down to this. There's a way to get them if you can just get him to sit still for a second.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'll show you, Mr. Miyagi style. This
is also probably something you learned in St. John.
It's actually Luke taught me this one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we would have my earliest memory of like a natural disaster was Hurricane Marilyn in 1990, maybe 91. So I was 5 or 6 years old. And I don't have a ton of good memories of it just because I was so young. But I remember my parents being like, okay, so we're going to pack everything up in garbage bags. So I was like, okay, so everything's in garbage bags now. Okay, we're going to go over to our friend's house that is made of concrete, unlike ours, which was wood. Okay, good. We're going to bring groceries, we're going to bring coolers, and we're going to buy this generator, and we're going to have this generator and these coolers with food in them. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then I remember it got really loud, like the sound started getting really loud from the wind, because hurricanes make mini tornadoes, so that's what you hear them really. And then I don't remember much else except because I think I went to sleep, but what they did is they put me between two mattresses because there was a bunch of glass windows.
You were sandwiched.
So I was sandwiched between two mattresses with like a little room for air.
Yeah.
And so I guess I just slept that way. And then the next day I woke up and it was like, I just remember being at this house and fucking everything was everywhere, and there was like mud and leaves and stuff in that house. No, the house we stayed in.
Oh.
And
the concrete house.
The concrete house was still concrete, but the windows had blown out and stuff. Out. And then when you drive around the island, like everything's just completely destroyed. So that was one, and then I went through another one of those, and so I went through several of those. And every time the roof on our house would be gone and just covered in like mud and leaves. And so then we would clean it up, rebuild the roof, just do it again.
Yeah, dude. I feel like, you were out of town, but if you would have been in the disaster area, it probably would have felt
very similar. I went through it actually. Hurricanes follow me. So I go to college in Virginia. they hadn't had a hurricane in like 52 years. Freshman year, fall, hurricane hits, school's closed for a week.
Jeez.
Then I moved to New Jersey. Hurricane Sandy hits, takes the roof off the apartment we're in.
What?
So I don't think hurricanes can get to Austin, so we're probably okay. But anyways, yeah, it's but the thing is stuff is stuff. Stuff is fucking whatever. I don't care about stuff. You know me, like I'm basically not allowed to have product ideas here because I don't buy things. I spend my money on experiences, and it's like I don't know where that came from, but maybe like having to put stuff in garbage bags all the time and realizing that it's just bullshit.
It's interesting because you are very money motivated.
Yeah.
But you're not
But I don't spend
possession material item.
Yeah, I'm experiences and food.
Yeah.
Which I consider an experience. So basically just experiences.
Yeah. Because I feel like usually you kind of assume someone who is like very ambitious to make money wants to buy like fancy cars and stuff, but you're the exact opposite. Like it took you so long
to get a car that had like moving parts.
Yeah.
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 I never lost anyone. Like people died in the hurricanes down there, but I never lost anyone. And that's the difference here is like, if you lost somebody in this, it's like,
it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, and like who gives a like stuff is important. Like I think for kids when they like lose their home, like there's a lot of trauma that's created there because like all of a sudden you go from like everything's fine to like, oh, everything I know and love could be taken away at any moment without me having done anything wrong. And so that creates like that creates trauma essentially.
Existential dread.
Yeah, it creates like basically like I have a problem with always thinking, and we deal with this with me being on the finance side, is like, I always think that the shoe's going to drop.
Right.
I always think that at any moment, everything is basically going to disappear and go wrong.
Yeah. And
I'm just now putting together those things might be related.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
But
something to talk to Anna about.
Yeah, I'll talk to the therapist about it. But
you talk to me about it too.
We're doing our best. We're doing what we can. Obviously, if anyone has more ideas, we're happy to hear them. And
I mean, I don't think that we have some giant listenership. Did you get it?
He's fat. He's a faster. He's not quite fat enough. I'll get him on the next one. Now that I know how fast he is.
I'm still genuinely confused on what perspective I should have about all of this from the standpoint of a business owner that is, in love with the hill country in Texas, and it's like, what is there more that we could be doing? I mean, we already said everything that we've done so far, and it's like I want to. If there's more that we can do to help, I want to fucking do it, right? And so,
it's also like I would love to just stop everything and just help, but like we have people that rely on this company not stopping.
I think that's another important.
I don't know how to deal with that.
So this is going to sound a little bit like we're bragging, but I think we punch above our weight class in terms of
like how big people think we are.
Yeah. Like I think we are often kind of like in the consumer's mind with much bigger brands, much bigger companies that have been around for a lot longer that have like substantially more resources. Whereas it's like
there's actually 5 of us.
Yeah, we have a tiny team.
2 people that help on sales, but they're remote.
Yeah, and we also are still very much in like startup mode, right? It's like we started the clothing brand in 2020, but we started like our kind of pilot launch of cannabis products 2 years ago. And then we really launched
February.
Show Country, the cannabis business, in February.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, we're like brand new. And I've talked about this before where it's like I feel like I've been perpetually in startup mode because my first company, the saga with that, where it's like, and it just sent me right back into like fucking white page, And so I do think that's maybe, I got the vibe because the people that have emailed in have mentioned like, these other brands are doing these things. It's like, guys, we're tiny. We are very small. And so I don't know. It's like, obviously it's like, there's nothing else we can do financially.
No.
And
yeah, it's like, I don't know how much to expose there about our finances.
Yeah,
it's like, we
run things to the edge because we are in this like process of building the foundation of a business that we expect to be a lot bigger in the future. That's what you do when you build a company from scratch. But we're also in this weird position where it's like, are we going to be able to continue making and selling these gummies? You know, we got this big win with the Greg Abbott veto.
Yep.
But now, Dan Patrick and Charles Perry, remember those names and don't vote for either of them, in 2026. Dan Patrick and Charles Perry have introduced a new bill, SB 5, which
the new and improved.
It's just SB 3.
They changed like two things.
They changed the number at the end.
Yep.
I do think that they made some like insignificant changes just so it wasn't a total copy paste, but it's the same thing. It bans the entire hemp industry. All hemp products in Texas will be banned if SB 5 passes. And so this emerges, and we find out, was that yesterday or the day before? That was the day before.
The day before.
Tuesday. Tuesday, maybe. We find out Tuesday at 8 a.m. that we got to be at the Capitol at 9 if we want to
sign up to testify.
Yeah, if we want to give a testimony. And so we rush up there, sit there all day.
So just for like the context really quick before we get into the actual like Senate stuff, which is a whole can of worms in terms of like my perspective on democracy.
Yeah.
But the context is we are small. Apparel, for people who don't know, it's a great brand builder, but it's not like a super cash generative business.
Not when you're just selling tees and hats. If you're selling, if like ponchos, I don't know how much those shirts are, but 60, 70, 80 bucks, I don't know.
Yeah.
Haller Brothers, Sendero, like those are clothing brands. They're selling, like their average order value is significantly higher than our average order value.
Yes.
On e-commerce, their presence in stores is a lot bigger than ours.
Tees and hats is like how you build the brand, but like heavier, like more expensive stuff is how you make money in apparel, which we haven't really gone into.
Yeah, and being an actual clothing brand where it's like, I need some new clothes. I'm gonna go like I know some people are like, some people are like, I need a new hat or I need a new t-shirt, but like if you're clothes shopping, if you're back to school clothes shopping, or if you're just, you know,
it's just a different beast. And so our whole strategy was like, let's build the apparel brand to get the name out there and to like get things going, build some distribution, and then we'll launch this cannabis brand based on that momentum and that awareness. And so the cannabis is where we're really expecting to eventually make money.
That is the business model, which is in its infancy because we essentially launched in February.
So we tested the market with essentially like gummies that weren't made by us for a year. Mm-hmm. Once we knew, like,
we had a co-manufacturer that was making them to our specifications.
Yeah. So in that case, we basically come up with a formulation. We dictate like flavor, like dosage, that sort of thing. They actually make them.
Yeah, it was a kit. It was like a contract kitchen essentially.
And so we're like, okay, well, we're ready. We believe that we've proven this market. We've proven distribution. People love the brand. They love the flavors. They love the dosages. Let's do this. So we bring all the manufacturing in-house over the last 9 months, 10 months. Mm-hmm. Finally, in February, we launch, and that's about a month before they announce SB3.
Yeah, it was literally a month before. Despite all of that, it's doing great.
It's doing amazing.
So, but it's not. We haven't like hit crazy escape velocity where we have like a ton of extra cash on hand.
No,
right?
and also the context going back to the situation that we're in, which is we're now in a situation where I call it Schrodinger's business, where like we don't know if the cannabis business still exists or not. It kind of depends on what happens in the next month.
Yes, like we have no idea how it's going to play out. We're optimistic that we're going to be able to continue making these gummies. It could be a scenario though where we have to make some like formulation adjustments. They might put a milligram cap that is lower than our current 8 milligram
Or we
gummies,
may have to only sell them out of state and get a kitchen elsewhere. Like there's all kinds
which would
of
be a huge undertaking, and we'll do it. Maybe, I mean, we'll decide at the time if it makes sense or whatever. But we're also like, well, I mean, there's a scenario where we just don't make cannabis products and we just lean into the apparel, right?
Yes.
So anyway, like without going on and on about our strategy there, it's like there's a lot of murkiness in as far as like what the future of the company looks like, and we're currently in this like startup mode, thin cash position at all times.
So we can't like officially say like this is our go-to-market strategy, this is our product strategy, because we really don't know if we're a cannabis brand or if we're going to have to go back to being an apparel brand.
Yeah.
So we're kind of stuck in limbo, which doesn't help.
Just thinking in real time, though, if we could get ourselves comfortable with the idea of 100% of proceeds, we could do like a one-day fundraiser on chillcountry.com and just sell a fuckload of gummies. And
we've got the inventory.
Maybe, I don't know. There's just something about, because here's the thing. That's like, that is, I don't know. Like, it's like, I feel like I have some sort of mental block here, because I feel like normal people would be like, yeah, well, we want to support your business and we want to support the relief. So that's awesome. Right? I think this might be like a me problem. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So we're just, if anybody's got any ideas, that's our situation. That's the position we're in.
Now that you have the context.
If there are some things that you think, based on what you know about our company and what resources we have access to, like, we'd love to continue helping, and we're going to continue to kind of rack our brains on it. And
we're always open to feedback and changing and being wrong, and like we just want to get better and grow and be helpful. So like whatever. And so going into the fact that we're in Schrodinger's business, we've now gone from, we got a veto at literally 11 p.m. the last night that it was possible, according to the Constitution, for Greg Abbott to veto SB3. And then when you veto a bill, you have to proclaim why. And so you write I think you have to. He fucking did. So I'm assuming you have to.
Yep.
But he wrote a proclamation. And in the proclamation, he explains why he vetoed it. And my summation of it is, Arkansas tried to basically pass a very similar bill to SB3. It got challenged and lost, according to, I think, either the Supreme Court or some court in Arkansas.
Didn't that get reversed?
I don't know about that, because in the proclamation, Abbott specifically refers to the fact that it didn't work in Arkansas because of overreach, and it won't work here.
I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think that then after that, it came out that the court changed their mind. I don't know how that fucking works, but I don't. Regardless, where we're at now is SB3 has been turned into SB5, presented by Charles Perry this week.
So here's where I get into it, which is just to like explain what this is like, because this is my first time doing this.
Yeah, because this is the first time you've actually gone to a hearing.
So you walk into the Capitol, you go through security, you go up to whatever floor. For us, it was the Senate chamber upper floor, because the first floor was full. You go up to this little kiosk that's an iPad, and you enter in your name, and whether you're here to testify or just listen with an opinion. And then if you want to testify written, oral, or both, I clicked oral, which means I'm going to speak. And then you put your name in, and then you go sit down. And when you walk in, there's this big room. This is the Senate chamber, I guess is what it's called. And there's a table there, and it's this committee. It's not the actual entire Senate. It's a committee.
A subset of the Senate.
And this was the State Affairs Committee that is in charge of... Oh, I almost got him. This is the State Affairs Committee, and there is a chair, a vice chair, and then 9 other members. It's an 11-member committee. And the way it works is the person bringing whatever bill for this special session, because the special session has to have a limited focus. That's part of the rules, I guess. And so Charles Perry, who brought SB5, has to explain himself and explain the purpose of the bill and why he's rebringing it. And he does that for a little while. That's where it gets interesting because he starts trying to explain things about THC that are so nuanced that it's clear that there's like already some misunderstanding, if not actual misinformation.
What's interesting is, first of all, it was the same kind of kangaroo court song and dance that I sat and watched in March for the Senate hearing for SB3 and the same committee. But this time, they actually did know more. Like, back in March, it was wild. Like, it was almost like he apparently authored the bill, but it felt like he was reading it for the first time.
Wow.
It was really eye-opening. But anyway, this time was, I would say, equally infuriating, right? Because they actually now were armed with more ridiculous nonsense. Yeah. So they like said things that maybe sounded good, and there was a lot of, you said this in your testimony, there was a lot of studies show.
A lot of studies show.
This is confirmed through a study. Oh, this doctor said this. There was a lot of that.
Yeah.
And still tons and tons of like completely wrong information, just stuff that was like either a blatant lie or just like not accurate about cannabis.
Yeah. So here's where it gets really interesting. Perry gives his explanation of it, and then they start bringing up people for public testimony. Mm-hmm. Well, the way they do it is that all the people that are for the bill get to go first, and then the people that are against get to go after that.
There's invited witnesses. So those people at the beginning, the committee, I believe the way it works is the committee actually invites people to...
And they get 5 minutes instead of 2 minutes.
So like, let's just say if you are a committee who creates this bill, like you're obviously for the bill, right? And if you think it's like something that is really important and we need to like make sure everybody else on the committee is fully educated on why it's so important, then it makes sense that you would invite witnesses to help give, different testimonies as to why your bill is great.
Yeah.
That's all fair. That all makes sense. The thing that is not fair and doesn't make sense is the massive amount of incorrect information or flat out lies that are being spewed by these invited witnesses.
And it's clear if you go watch it, it's talking points that are being re-brought up over and over again. It was essentially a advertisement for Teacup, like a really good advertisement for Teacup.
And it's the same exact cast of characters.
Yeah, same people as last time.
Yeah.
So here's the case I want to bring to the public opinion, which is you're a committee, you ask for public testimony. Why would you do that? You're doing that in theory for more information gathering. Mm-hmm. Okay? So here's why I think that that's complete bullshit, and it's a total farce, and it's political theater. What happens is you have 11 people sitting at the committee for all of the fours. As soon as the against people start showing up, all of a sudden, the senators on the committee get up and start leaving.
They leave, or they start looking at their phones.
Or they look at their phone. We actually have video of one of them like on their phone.
Yeah.
By the time I got up to speak, which was like 2/3 through the against, there was the chair, the vice chair, Perry, and Mr. Hinojosa.
That wasn't even the chair. That was a standing because the chair left. That lady was not the...
She was the vice chair.
She's the vice chair. Okay, yeah. So she was like, so the chair was gone.
Okay, great. So
Perry was there, which was nice to...
3 or 4 of the 11 are still there. Yeah. Okay. And then I find out right after the against have finished that they have voted unanimously for the bill to be pushed into Senate. Mm-hmm. So that means literally physical impossibility that the committee heard all of the against.
Right.
Which tells me that it was completely made up and not part of their decision-making process.
Yeah, that's pretty clear. And
it's mathematically 100%.
The thing is like we have been going to these things knowing that they don't give a fuck in the Senate.
Yeah.
And the reason to go is to get the clips that you can put out on the internet to like spread awareness of what's going on, right? So it's almost like they're making content for us.
So here's what's really cool about this, because like this is a dark situation. I don't want to get into the fact that like I think that the Senate is completely lost and there's no democracy there at all, which I do believe that, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on that.
I also believe that.
What I want to spend time on is what I think is really cool that's shifting. Those Senate hearings that have been going on the entire time I've lived in Texas have been recorded, okay? And in March of 2025, you decided to go testify and then found out that those things were publicly available. And then you started downloading them and clipping them up and putting them on the internet, which at this point, all of those clips combined have millions of views. What that means is that before this year, millions of views, those millions of people had not seen any of the inner workings of the Senate or House.
That's not entirely true. So on the hemp topic, yes, but people have been. The thing is that there's an art to it, right? There's an art to cutting up clips, and it's not simply finding a segment and taking a chunk and putting it out on the internet. Like, you got to like massage it down into like to make the points very concise.
Yes.
And find the points that are like the most important to make, right? So it's like this
is what
process.
You've been doing your whole life, though. So like you are uniquely qualified to do this.
I've been making content on the internet and on social media for my entire career. So I have an intimate understanding of how the platforms work, and like there's like the tactical parts of like, you know, how to on a technical level cut something up, but then there's truly like an art to it. To like you're trying to make a point, you're trying to say something, right? So like, how do you do that in the most clear, concise way? And of the 14-hour live stream, how do you find the most important points to get out there into the public and do it in a way where you got a hook, right? Because it's like there's like the technical stuff where it's like if it's got the right hook and it's got a concise message and it's got a good pace to it, then people are going to share it, people are going to like it, people are going to comment, and then that's how you like get the virality, which is important if you're trying to get the message to as many people as possible. And so I definitely didn't invent that. Like there have been people cutting up national and state level Senate hearings, House hearings. James Tallarico has been fucking crushing it with his own testimonies or like debates in the Senate and House, and there's countless people that have been doing that for like all sorts of topics. And there were definitely a lot of people making content about the hemp stuff prior to me starting to cut up SB3 clips. So I'm definitely not like taking credit on like being the first to let anybody know about, you know, the regulatory hurdles and issues and what, you know, whatever. But on SB3 specifically, I think I was the first one to like get clips out there that really got a lot of attention.
Yeah. And really clearly explain what was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and because I was also all over Reddit, and I was replying to every post, and like people on Reddit actually read comments and read replies, so I was like giving as much insight as I had on what was going on and about Teacup and how we've met with those fuckers and with the alcohol industry and how we've met with those fuckers, you know, and so we had a lot of like inside information on what was going on, and so at that time it was like, we also had the kind of strategic ability to share it and get it out there to a lot of people. So yeah, I'm definitely not taking credit for like coming up with the idea of cutting up.
Fair enough.
Hearings,
I just think you do it really, really well. And all of a sudden I think more people now than ever are aware of, because of how good you are at chopping those things up and the way it's been presented. Like, and obviously other people are doing a really good job of it too. Lucas has gotten really good at it, that sort of thing. More people than ever are like, at least tangentially, if not actually aware of this really weird phenomenon, which is things keep becoming law that clearly Texans don't want. And so you have to ask yourself, like, why does that keep happening? And funny enough, an article was recently dropped that very clearly explains that there's actually two guys. So according to the article, there are two guys that have enough influence between the House and the Senate that both used to work for or currently work for Dan Patrick that very clearly explains that if you pay these two guys, you can enough money, you can pretty much make something happen in Texas that may or may not be something the people want.
I mean, based on everything that we've gathered over the last however many months since March, and in light of the information in that article, it's like that all checks out based on what I've seen firsthand.
So we'll link to the article.
Yeah.
And people
Which, by the way, it was Lucas who texted me that. So yeah.
Shout out to Lucas, hometown hero for that one.
Like, I don't want to take credit for being like the fucking the guy, like Lucas is the guy that's been fucking crushing it since 2018.
He's been suing states since the jump.
He's been making podcast content, YouTube, social media content for like the whole way through. And we jumped on the train in March. And I do think that I have a unique background in social media and like how to fucking, edit content. But like, anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll link to that article. It's very interesting. And it kind of gets into how do these, a lot of people have heard about these two oil billionaires and how they're involved in politics. And then people are hearing about this guy from Pennsylvania that's donating to campaigns. And it's like, why is a guy from Pennsylvania? And then it gets into like how super PACs work and how those started to exist from some decisions that the Supreme Court made back in 2010 and 11. And it's like
the people who would benefit the most from super PACs got to change the law to allow super PACs.
Yes. Weird. So maybe we can get into that. We actually have a call.
We do.
At noon. I can talk a little bit more about.
We got 9 minutes.
Yeah. So what do we want to really like?
Well, I'd say the call to actions are, if you've got money to donate to the fund, or if you have a way to raise money to donate to the flood relief efforts, there is a fund called the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. You can Google it and you'll find it. This is not new information. Everybody's been posting this fund, but
good.
We might as well say it again. So the number one way that you could help with flood relief is to donate to that fund. I don't know what the current situation is in terms of like labor needed or volunteers needed for passing out food at job sites, but I would imagine that's going to be a need for a very long time. So if you have the flexibility and you're physically able, there are tons of groups. There's official organizations, but then there's also church groups churches that have like kind of organized base camps to direct people to different job sites. So
if you're like skilled labor, know how to use a chainsaw, know how to use a dump truck, backhoe, truck, like that sort of like.
If you have access to tractors and like Tanner was amazing. I personally would not have ventured out into the disaster zone without somebody like Tanner, who is our friend that lives on 100 acres and like knows how to use tractors and chainsaws and like all that shit. So like, I was like following him. And like one of the things that he spent a lot of his time doing was repairing chainsaw chains and sharpening chainsaw chains. So like he had the whole setup there where he was like sharpening people's chainsaws. Whoa. It was like pretty sick. But like, so there's all sorts of like people that know how to do shit like that. Like there is a lot of help that is still needed, I'm assuming, based on what I could gather. So anyway, and then lastly, I think prayer is super powerful. I pray every day. I pray multiple times a day. I think it's, some people don't believe in it, but that's fine. But if you do believe in it, I think that it helps. And then that's what I think we can do for the flood relief. And then the hemp stuff, just contact. Oh, the one point that I want to make is like the Senate is completely corrupt, completely owned by. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's a joke. And if you don't believe me, go sit in a Senate hearing, and just watch it, and you will leave with the same perspective that we have now. Or you can get online. You could actually just go watch the live stream. Watch the live stream, or watch any of the clips that we've cut up. We're not like making these people look bad. We're literally just showing what they're saying, and it's so absurd that it makes them look bad. So that's the Senate. The House, on the other hand, when I went to the House committee hearing for SB3, it like restored my faith in democracy. Like all of the people on the committee were listening. Sometimes they have to like get up and leave, I think, just because they're dealing with like a lot of different stuff. But then they would like come back, and they were asking really good questions. You could see them getting overwhelmed by the complexity of the situation, and they were like it was like how it's supposed to work. Like they were actually getting educated by these different people that have insights, right? So, you could see them. You could see them actually really like understanding the magnitude of the issue and wanting to figure out a solution. And then to confirm that they actually did write a 120-page regulation bill that was a committee substitute for SB3. That then got struck down at the very last minute with an amendment that reverted the language back to the original SB3 language. Who knows how that got through? But then apparently the reason why it passed with the original language is because Dan Patrick was holding all of these other bills hostage, and it basically like forced their hand to be like, okay, fuck it, I'll ban hemp because I want like money for the education fund or whatever the fuck the other bills were. So that's why it passed. But then luckily fucking Abbott came to the rescue and vetoed. And I think it's also important to say that Abbott continues to affirm that he wants regulation and does not want a ban. So I think this is just like political theater on Dan Patrick and the Senate's part to be like, we're strong men and we're gonna fucking muscle this through. It's like that's what it feels like, because like how are you not gonna like the directive was literally come up with regulations so that adults can have access. Like that's what the governor said, and then they were like, nah, fuck you. Here's the same language that you just vetoed. So anyway, so it's going to pass the Senate, then it's going to go to the House. I have a lot more faith in the House. And this time, maybe we can avoid that last minute amendment. There's not like, I don't know that there's other bills they can hold up. Like, I don't know if Dan Patrick is evil enough to hold up like flood relief to get the ban. It could be. Who fucking knows?
He might be. And the article that we were talking about before explains that there are people who've paid a lot of money to get medical marijuana through Teacup expanded.
Totally.
And to remove hemp as a competitor. Yeah. So, like, you can see that he is pretty much bought and paid for, it seems like.
Yep. It's so clear what's going on. Which, by the way, the lawyers from Texas Original, who is the company that controls Teacup, sent me a cease and desist when I was exposing them for their involvement in all of this. And because we are a small company with limited resources, I complied and took down a bunch of content that was talking about Teacup specifically.
And then that article broke.
And then the article came out, and it's like...
Are lawyers allowed to lie?
I mean, you think there is a lawyer out there who hasn't lied?
So it's just like, I wonder if we should report him to the bar.
Is to lie.
I chat GDP'd this, and it said that like that should be reported to the bar for
fuck yeah, we should do that, dude.
Negligence or whatever that is.
So absurd.
So that'd be fun.
My reply was like, yeah, I'll take this down. But so you know, your CEO came to my office and told me that he was donating to Dan Patrick's campaign. And now they're finally listening to him about the hemp issue. And at the time, I thought we were on the same page with the hemp issue, which was there's illegal gas station drugs and crazy fucking ridiculous high dose THC products being sold as hemp, but they're actually like synthetic bullshit.
Yeah, as a reminder for anybody that's listening that may be involved with politics, you can still buy whippets
You can buy whippets. You can buy a
1,000 milligram gummy.
You can buy a lab created psilocybin derivative.
Yep.
That is apparently as psychoactive as psilocybin mushrooms, just at the fucking gas station.
Yep.
At pretty much all of them.
Yep. You can buy kratom. You can buy 7-hydroxy, which is
all
insane.
things that aren't even being sold as hemp. But then there also are disgusting synthetic cannabinoid products that are being labeled
what do we
as
got?
hemp.
THCO, THC10,
HCC,
THCP.
And so these people that are talking about like the devastating stories that they have with family members.
Their kid did not take an 8 milligram gummy and go crazy.
Their kid did not eat an organic.
They ate a 2,000 milligram gummy while drunk and probably doing whippets.
Yeah.
And then they went crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think we got to get on a call. I think that Oh, yeah, shit. It's right now.
Call time.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.